Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and neckbeards, welcome to another episode of
Whoa, 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 Dave. No, it's Westworld.
Oh, wheneverly. Tana,
David.
this doesn't look like anything to me.
This what we have in front
That's
of us?
right, it doesn't look like anything
So
to
this
me.
is, we're calling this the original.
This is the original.
This is the original. Because, Dave, what are we doing?
We have decided to take a little interesting new direction to our podcast.
That's
and,
right.
We actually are doing what in TV land is called a spin-off.
Oh, yeah, we're spinning ourselves off here.
We're spinning ourselves off.
No one says spinning themselves off.
No,
That's not
it's
it.
like a little. It's like a little. Let's go back in the back room and spin each other
ourselves
off.
up.
Let's just go spin off. Let's. Okay.
Welcome.
So for those of you who have never listened to us before, this is what we do. Anyway, this is Westworld Wheneverly. It's a spin-off of our original podcast, Westeros Wheneverly. In which case we get drunk and talk about Game of Thrones. Yes. But in this case, we are going to...
we're in a bit of a Game of Thrones hiatus. We're out of show. There are no new books.
Yeah,
So I think it's a natural time for us to change gears.
A natural progression into what is just starting now to become a huge sensation.
God. So what we're doing here,
yes,
what we just did tonight was rewatched the first
episode
of the first season of Westworld. The second season is about to start when?
April something.
Okay, and so we're in February.
We're in February.
We're thinking in advance of the new season, we would do a rewatch. I don't know about you.
I think I did. I wanted to do a rewatch anyway.
Yeah.
And I figured it would be a perfect opportunity to do, to spin ourselves off a little bit. Just to spin ourselves off a little bit.
Well, you can't really ignore an opportunity to spin yourself off,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, I'm a man. That's all I think about, right? Is spinning off and
we're right back in the saddle again, ladies and gentlemen. I was thinking about this. I watched all of Westworld in a year ago.
Yeah.
In 1 or 2 sittings. Like I binge watched it, right?
You
like
didn't get a chance to digest anything.
No, none of it. I was just like on it, and I have not rewatched any of the episodes until tonight when we watched episode 1 again. And so I was thinking, couple of things that I want to do with what we're talking about here.
Okay.
We're going to be spoilery.
Yes, very spoilery.
Because we already know what happens.
We know what happened. There's no way in my mind to talk about it without spoilering it. I mean...
we could have had a podcast that followed it like from the beginning or something, but that's not... Yeah, it's
too late.
It's already out there. It exists.
Maybe season 2, when season 2 rolls around, we'll be able to do that.
Yeah. And we can sort of examine what we think is going to happen. That could be very interesting. So,
but for these first couple episodes, it's going to be catch up basically as we rewatch, and you can join this journey with us. We're going to rewatch the.
So watch the seasons. Binge watch if you want to, or you can if you watch in real time. Like if people only watch episode 1 and then listen to us, we're going to spoil the whole season for you.
Yeah,
we're going to have to be spoilery.
Don't listen to us until we start talking about season 2. If you're not caught up, if you're caught up. Come along for the ride.
Yep.
Or if you just don't care about spoilers and you like listening to two drunk idiots talk about things, then you're more than welcome to join us.
Yeah.
Speaking of drunk idiots.
Yeah, so it was called The Original. The first episode here was called The Original, and I thought, well, what is the original cocktail? What is the original drink? And there are some classic cocktails. There are a lot of, obviously, I wanted to do something whiskey-based because... it's the Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West.
And so, but I was like, the only thing I could think of was a shot and a beer, right? Like that's the original. And when I think Wild Wild West, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like a shot and a beer. But, so tonight, you and I are doing a shot and a beer.
That's right.
Shot of whiskey, obviously.
Right.
But the Westworld part of it is that we are going, it's a modern take. I have a micro brew. It's actually not. It's a Sam Adams, but it's a craft beer. It's a craft beer. It's a seasonal craft beer. Okay. So super foofy.
Okay, so that's our modernist. Yeah,
called Cold Snap, one of my favorites by them. It's their white ale, and it is delicious. And it's only around for a limited time. So if you have any Sam Adams near you, go get Cold Snap. I love it. And then what do you have for our whiskey?
So I wanted to be a little bit also modern, but tie into the theme. And so I decided to go with a little Johnny Walker, and it's going to be the Man in Black Label.
Yes, the Man in Black Label. How creepy is that guy? Like, I knew he was a bad guy, but I wanted... one of the other things that I want to do in this, when we're talking about this, is they raise... This series raises really big questions about existence and life, and the sort of like, there's a big philosophical bent to it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm interested in unpacking with you, drunkenly over shots of whiskey, is how they do it. Like, talking about the philosophy of existence, but also this sort of scene to scene, how they make the Man in Black so sinister. I mean, you know...
Well, I mean, the first time we see him, he rolls up, he kills two people.
We don't even know that Teddy is fake yet, right? Like, we don't know that he's fake. Right. They have this whole love story, and then they're out in the, like, watching the horses or whatever. Yep. And then he comes in, and he's like, I'll give you the first shot. He's evil from the get.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so you've got Johnny Walker... The
Man in the Black Label. The Man in Black Label.
The Man in Black Label. These are full fucking shots, dude.
Yeah.
This thing is like
how else do you do a shot?
Oh, and it's warm. Okay.
This is going to be this might be interesting one.
This might be a sipping shot for Tana. This is going to be...
I'm just going to go in because...
Oh, all men? Well, okay. Well, now... So we've got a tagline, but it seems very... Westeros.
Very Westeros-y.
Yeah, it's Game of Thrones. All men must drink. That's our... We're gonna have to workshop something for Westworld. All men must choose
This drink looks like nothing to me. That saying just looks straight up. I mean, what are we drinking tonight? Looks like nothing to me.
This drink looks like nothing to me. Cheers, buddy. Oh, that is smooth as silk. Holy crap. Wow, dude.
That's what you get from the black man.
Dang.
That didn't come out right.
The Man in Black.
Label. Yes, the Man in Black label. Right.
That is smooth.
The fact that...
That is not harsh at all.
Do the whole thing. Come on. Get on my level.
Listen, I'm gonna blow up your spot here, Dave.
Yeah.
Which one of us is drinking a beer, Mr. Man?
I'm trying this new thing where I don't eat any carbs.
Yeah.
And it puts your body into ketosis.
I don't know,
and then it turns your fat and proteins into energy instead of...
I'm not judging. I'm just saying only one of us is drinking the drink of the night, which is a beer and a shot.
Okay. It looks like nothing to
do you
me.
want to try this?
Like
so let's do this. So I brought over... I love whiskey, and I don't have any Johnny Walker Black. This is fantastic, and I'm going to have to get some and keep it in my house. Two of my... So see... Okay. There are 3 whiskeys I keep all the time in my house. See if you can guess what they are. I brought one of them with me tonight, which I'm going to make you sip. Maybe you'll be able to guess what it is. It is also chilled. I won't make you do a full shot, but you can have yours.
So you told me earlier, so I'm cheating a little bit. This is the Frontier.
Your memory,
it's a Frontier whiskey.
Yeah, your memory is
my memory is shit. So I have no idea what it's called.
See if you can taste it. Maybe it will unlock something in you. Yeah. Describe the flavor.
It doesn't taste like Black Label at all. It's a little harsher. Yeah. But also because it's chilled, it's also a little smooth, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is Bullet Frontier Whiskey, and it says right on the glass, like, bottle, Frontier Whiskey. It's stamped in the glass as part of their whole thing. And I was like, oh, well, this is...
The Wild West.
Yeah, totally. Okay. If the bottle says Frontier Whiskey, you've got to have it.
Yeah, okay. So you keep Bullet Whiskey in your house. I'm going to assume that you also keep American Honey.
I do not.
Oh, Fireball?
There is a lot of Fireball in my house, but I've bought none of it. I've inherited a lot of it.
Okay.
So there are 2 whiskeys that I keep in my house. One hint is I'm half Irish. So what do you go to? Right? Traditional.
Jameson.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Always have Jameson on hand.
See, I'm good for something. Nice.
Excuse me. Wow.
Well done.
All men must drink. This
drink looks like nothing.
This drink looks like nothing to me. What is the thing that they say to shut everything down? That could be our sign-off line. We'll save it
We'll
for the end.
We'll have to figure it out. Did you write it down?
I did.
Okay, I figured you would.
I did take notes, of course, because I'm me. So of course I took notes. But the other one is Maker's Mark, and then I also have like a rotating selection of. I think right now I've got Four Roses small batch. Anyway, Basil Hayden's is there. I've got a ton, and I'll always drink my whiskey bottles down till there's just maybe a couple of shots left.
Yeah.
So when friends visit, we can do whiskey tastings. And I can do little whiskey flights with what's left. So, little insight.
Fancy.
I'm just saying, I like my whiskey.
Person.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the episode.
Let's do it.
Okay,
jump right in.
The first thing we see, right, and the first thing I said to you.
Opening credits. The opening credits are amazing.
Yeah, they're really good.
I think those are some of the best opening credits of any show, right? Like the stitching together, and there's music, right? So it's like the art, but then also the science, and then these bodies being built, but also horses are being built, and all this sort of musculature. It's super creepy.
So it automatically sets up the stage for like something interesting is going on. So if you have not heard anything about it, or you don't know anything, and you're just going in blind, you're kind of like, all right, this is a science-y Western kind of horror. Yeah,
it feels like a horror movie.
The music. Right, and I think one of the best parts about horror movies is definitely how they make you feel, and they do that by the music.
Yes.
And so
pro tip: if you're like me,
pro tips by Tana.
That's right, pro tips by Tana. If you're like me and you don't like horror movies,
I don't like horror movies.
Okay,
but I like the music.
You just mute it. Right, so like if you want to maybe get through The Walking Dead because you do comics for a living, but you can't.
Horror.
It's scary to me. I have nightmares.
Really?
I have a lot of nightmares, and so you just like watch it on mute. And I know that's going to drive some people crazy listening to an audio podcast when one of them says just put it on mute. But I'm telling you, if you want it to be less scary,
basically what Tana's telling you, if her voice scares you, just put us on mute.
The soundtrack,
and then you can keep drinking. And basically, you're drinking for a reason. You're listening to our podcast, but you're putting us on mute.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah. It's that existence dichotomy, right?
Yeah,
to be or not to be, to listen or not to listen.
That's right.
These are the big questions here, guys. So the
opening
music
credits is great. Yeah,
yep.
It starts off crazy. You know, it definitely puts you in a mood. Mm-hmm. But then it just basically cuts directly to Teddy waking up on a train.
No, naked Dolores.
Oh,
and
that's right.
And the talk about her being in a dream.
My memory shit. I just watched this, and it's like, what?
So this scene happens twice in the first episode.
Yes.
And the first time, if I'm not mistaken, is with Bernard, right?
Yes.
And Bernard is asking Dolores all these questions. So you're in a dream, da-da-da, have you ever lied to us, whatever.
Right.
And then later in the episode, the guard,
the security guy,
the security dude, is asking her the same series of questions.
So it seems like what we can deduce is that this is a standard series of questions, basically a debrief set that they've created to determine if there's anything wrong with the host.
Yep, it's some sort of, I don't know,
underlying code, personal response, you know, this
protocol,
yes, protocol.
Bugging, where you find a bug. Debugging. There it is.
You're squishing bugs.
This episode brought to you by Johnny Walker Black Label. Happens fast, friends.
Oh,
yeah, Dolores and the Fly. So it opens on Dolores and the Fly, right?
Yes.
So they have, would you ever hurt anyone or whatever, and all the series of questions. And then the fly is like on her face in that scene and like walks on her eyeball, and that's how we know, right, that
she's not real.
Right, that she's not real. The fly was interesting throughout the whole thing. Halfway through the episode, at about our midway point there, we've got the sheriff guy, and he's leading the dude and his like wife that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
The purple people.
Yep, the purple people.
Yeah, and they don't want to be there, and he's like, how long is this going to take? My wife doesn't want to do it.
The fly lands on the cheek and sets him off.
And he freaks out, and his one eye is like looking at the fly, and it totally... It's a bug, right? Like, are they doing this thing where they're giving us a literal bug?
Oh, definitely.
For
100%.
like a computer bug?
Absolutely. Yes. That's a complete duality that I completely missed, and then you pointed out to me, and I'm just like,
I'm gonna love this show.
God.
And just unpacking the whole thing. And as far as the setup episode goes, I feel like it was pretty long. I believe it's very long because I had to pee from almost the opening scene. And I was like, I can make it to the end. I could not make it to the end.
Hey, pause this for me.
But Lauren was watching it for the first time, and so I didn't want to interrupt that experience.
Okay,
I believe in the experience,
Understood.
And it was so good.
But that's a great duality, and I think it's really interesting because, and I'm just going to jump around because that's just the way my brain works. That fly is not man-made. That is a real fly, and I think we can deduce that because no one kills it. Until Dolores at the end.
Yes.
And they ask her, like, you would never kill a living thing, right? And she says no.
And she has that perfect smile on her face. Right. That sort of, like, disembodied,
and you're
weird thing that you're just getting used to at the end of this episode.
She's lying. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And he says, have you ever lied to us?
She says,
would you ever kill a living thing?
And then she smacks her neck.
And that's how we end the episode.
And that's the end of the
episode starts as a fly on her eye. Halfway through the episode, the fly lands on the cheek of the sheriff, and he freaks out. He bugs out about it. And then at the end of the episode, she kills the fucking fly. And so I feel like narratively, the people that put this together did a brilliant job. So the team that was in charge of this, because you have all of these different worlds. You have Westworld repeating. So, we see Teddy waking up on the train 2 or 3 times during the episode. So, certain things are repeating. We're getting used to it. This is all in just one episode. And then there's different people who are like, but he's so beautiful, but I'm here to play evil. And there's
Can't wait for the bad guys.
The background talk about good and evil. They're setting the stage, not just in Westworld, but also behind the scenes and in the sort of like tech shop. And then I thought that one of the best scenes of the show, and one I was particularly paying attention to because I've seen where the whole show goes, I wanted to see what happens between the designer guy, the annoying British dude, and
the writer.
Yeah, the writer. Oh, the speech, and then and the woman who's smoking the cigarette, right?
Yes.
Eventually, I'll learn all their names, but whatever, guys. And they're talking on the balcony, right? And this is a perfect scene between these two people.
Yes.
Oh, and just the back and forth, the power dynamic there, and it shifts. So good.
Actually,
so good.
Not only is that a great scene cinematically and content-wise, it's actually really interesting because it almost leads you to believe that she knows what the corporation wants.
So what do you think management wants, she says to him at some point. And then she's like staring at him, and the way that they film it, it sort of has him dominant until she... there's a realization where he says, it's time for a changing of the guard. And that's why I would support you in the changing of the guard. Her eyes open just a little bit, but she faces away from the camera and out over into the canyon. But you can see that instant reaction of surprise. And it's so subtle and so well done. Then the camera swivels back to her, and she dismantles him.
Yeah, just tears him apart.
And she's like, you're smart enough to know that there's a bigger game, that there are 3 things happening here. There's management, there's shareholders, and then there's the rich assholes that pay to be here. But you're not smart enough to know what the game is, which is what makes you worthless to me. It's so great. Oh, it's so great. They're doing that thing where they give you just enough information, even more information. This was a very big first episode. There's a lot in this first episode. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they play this thing where Mr. Abernathy picks up the photo, right, and he's staring at it, and this
Dolores' dad, him.
This triggers him, and the first time I watched through this, obviously, I never picked up on the whole. It doesn't look like anything to me thing, because he asks her, he shows her the photo, and she just like, it doesn't look like anything to me, and he goes, but have you ever seen a place like this? It's a photo of a woman
in like Times Square. So lots of glitzy lights, beautiful woman that we haven't seen on camera, right? Like this is not a familiar character to us. This is a stranger. It's a physical photograph. He found it in the dirt outside the stables where he's putting in the mechanical horses for the night. And or it cows, looks like
whatever
cows,
he's herding,
and he's looking at this and he can't make sense of it because the background, where is she? It doesn't look like any place I've ever seen. where is this person? And it glitches him out. And Dolores looks at it, his daughter, and says, it doesn't look like anything to me.
And she says it twice, right? Yeah. And I think...
God, it's so good.
They did this on purpose, right? And I missed it on my first watch through, right?
I missed so much.
I'm sure everyone did, right? It's little things that you pick up on the second time, but she says it twice, right? And that should trigger something to people, right? Like, this is a response that she is programmed to say. This is not an emotion. This is not an improvisation. This is literally a response that she is programmed to say. And people miss that. And so, again...
She says it
spoilers.
again.
Right, she says it again later on.
When the guard is asking her, your dad, Mr. Abernathy showed you a photograph. What did it look like? What did you see?
It didn't look like anything.
It didn't look like anything to me. And they do this so the love of my life is an eye doctor, and the thing that all of the robots have when they're staring into the middle distance is an eye turn. So one eye's looking at you, one eye's looking for you. Like, it's just a little bit of a vacant stare. Yeah. And all of the robots have this. Like, that is a subtle detail that these people have. So Dolores, when she's sort of in off mode, has like a slight eye turn. All of them do. The dad does whenever they're being checked out. And I think that kind of attention to detail, man, I will love you for that. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Repeated dialogue. Teddy.
Yeah.
His thing about being chivalrous.
It
comes up again and again in
just trying to be chivalrous, or remember to be chivalrous.
Oh, it's so good. I think I might have written it down. I did take a few notes. Oh my goodness. But I don't know that I wrote down exactly what he said. But the first time we ever see him meet her, right? We see, I think, 3 times during the episode. There's 3 different examples where Teddy meets Dolores. Right. And he says the line about chivalry 2 of those 3 times.
Just trying to look chivalrous, my dear, or something like that. He picks up the can.
And then when he dies, he gets shot in the big shootout at the end, and he says it again. There are these canned responses that make them seem more like robots, and it's so perfectly done. Yeah. Oh, the whole thing is so perfectly orchestrated. I love it.
So they're set up this dynamic, right? So this is like the key, I think, one of the key things of the episode is like you said, there's good and evil.
We've got our main characters.
We got our main characters. We got Teddy. We got Dolores. We got the Man in Black.
Yep.
Who's clearly on his own warpath.
Yep.
Right? He ends the episode.
He seems like he knows more about the world. I've been coming here for 30 years, he says.
And that actually just triggered me.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it triggered my memory, is that he says this, like, the first time we see him, he says this to Dolores or something. Yep. He's like, I've been coming here for 30 years and nothing's changed, or something like that.
And he knows things about her. Right. Oh, they gave you a little more spunk. You know, they gave you more, pep or whatever. Teddy, Teddy, I'll never understand, he says, why they made
2 of you together. They put 2 of you together. And then he says, I forget the exact line, but he says something along the lines of, well, I guess people pay to win, and there's no fun winning if there's not a loser.
Yeah, he goes, I'll never understand why they paired some of you off, is what he says. So we're still early in the episode, and we think it's a love story between these 2 people. We don't know that Teddy's not real. We don't know that Dolores is not real. We don't know that they regenerate every night. And they do this beautiful thing together where she's missed him and he's missed her, and they go back to the house, and then there's the Man in Black. And he's like, fucking, I didn't know why they ever paired I never understood why they paired some of you off. Then I realized, winning doesn't mean anything unless someone else loses.
Yep.
Hey, Teddy.
Guess you're the loser.
You're the loser. You're designed to be the loser. You know what? And then he's like, I'll give you the first shot, which if we had thought about this at a time, we could have an audio clip, maybe. I don't know. We could do that.
Potentially.
But we do everything in one hot take. That's right. Another thing.
That's the way. That's how editing. We roll. Yeah, if you're joining us for the first time here in I almost did it. Westworld,
Westworld, you call yourself.
Westworld, wheneverly. You'll find that we don't edit. We're not editors. Mm-hmm. We just go for it. But yeah, so they set up this good and evil duality going on, and the Man in Black kind of. He makes this comment like, I've been coming here 30 years, blah, 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 and whatever. And then...
And he knows things about them.
And then later on I picked up...
Yep.
Bernard and the woman are talking.
Yep. The designer woman or the woman that was smoking. We'll know her name eventually.
She's not management. She's like the director, or she's in charge of the moment. She's the general manager now or something like that. And she makes a comment like, what if it's a critical failure? And Bernard says there hasn't been a critical failure in 30 years, which is the same amount of time that the Man in Black comes out and says, I've been coming here for 30 years.
For 30 years. I didn't pick up on that, Dave, and I should have. I've seen the last episode. I should. Oh, you're right. And then I did pick up on the, first of all, Anthony Hopkins. I love him.
He's a brilliant actor.
To Anthony. Man. This drink
looks like nothing.
This drink looks like nothing to me.
It's a little long. We're gonna have to tweak that as we go, but.
In Westeros, wheneverly, we always say, all men must drink. It's short and to the point.
We should just keep saying it.
We'll find something. It'll be there. So, yeah.
Here's
Anthony
to the maze.
Is so... is that even this one?
We see it at the end.
He's so good at this. Anthony Hopkins. The subtlety of his acting, right? There's this one scene where the dad is malfunctioning. He's been looking at the picture, and it's freaked him out. And he grabs Anthony Hopkins, Ford, right? I'm partial to that name. Yeah. And he says something about killing his maker, and it ends up being a
Shakespeare quote.
Yeah, or maybe an almost Shakespeare quote, right? Like, I think they might have gone a little bit off on it, but basically it's an old program, but we don't know that.
Right.
And Anthony Hopkins is like looking for meaning in this robot's face, and just the level of emotion.
Yeah.
What they're doing here, these questions of what is real, what counts as alive, what is consciousness, all of the big stuff. It's so meaty.
And it's great because this is the first time we really see Ford as being quote unquote God.
Yep.
Right? Because he's just sitting there. He knows nothing bad's going to happen. Everyone else is freaking out.
Yeah.
The guard, as soon as that the host jumps up and grabs Anthony or Ford,
he doesn't even react.
He doesn't react at all. He just sits there.
He's staring him in the eyes as if he's looking into the windows of this robot's soul.
That's right. And everyone else is freaking out. A general manager, woman, lady, busts through the door with the guards.
Yes.
And they're waiting and thinking. And
then he's calm and being sort of aggressive. And you know what? Now, so knowing, my memory is also spotty, but I know the big strokes of what happens over the season. So I know that he had a partner, and I know that he and the partner fought over how to handle these...
Consciousness.
Yeah, consciousness. Right. And so he is peering... I read that scene, having seen the whole season, as
Spoilers.
him,
again,
peering into the face of his dead partner and looking for the meaning, the breadcrumbs that partner left for him.
Yeah.
So he's looking at this machine, and he's wondering, what part of this is you, my friend?
Right.
What part of this is you?
I agree 100%.
And so he's
you
like,
can read that in his face.
Yeah, man. Oh, I think this second watch is going to be super rich. So. So if you guys are in this with us, come along for the ride. I think we're gonna have fun. We're gonna plan on doing this once a week. What are we? Well, wheneverly.
Come on, that's our shtick, Tana.
I'm trying to plan it too much.
We don't plan this, Tana. This is wheneverly. It's just gonna happen wheneverly. All right.
What other things did you want to talk about this episode?
Oh man, I mean. So, okay, we see another... I love that they add this, like, comedic aspect to the writer. Mm-hmm. I think... and I'm trying to remember where
That's the highlight. I think the comedic highlight of the episode there.
I'm trying to remember exactly where his story arc ends up, but just not remembering all of that completely. I love this aspect of him where he's just like, he's talking, oh, man, with a lot of rewriting, I was able to make this blood party happen.
Up all night.
And just wait till you see his speech.
Made it even longer.
Made it even better. And he starts to get in on his speech.
So the bad guy shows up to town, right?
He robs the bank.
And he's like, okay.
What's his name?
Hector?
Hector. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
Hector goes to the Mariposa. Mariposa means butterfly? Nope. Anyway.
It means butter, doesn't it?
Butterfly. I don't know. So there's a lot that we don't know.
Yeah, this is bad.
But Hector, the bad guy, shows up towards the end of this episode.
Yes.
And because the robots have had an update, some of them are glitching, right? That's the sort of the point of the whole episode, is that there's been an update last night, and some of them are glitching, like Dolores's dad, some of the bad guys. They're just kind of freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, we find out through watching the episode that Ford has added a little bit of extra code to the update. What
do they call it?
Reveries.
And they're these small touches that make the robots seem more human.
Right, they're supposed to be tied to quote-unquote memories.
Okay.
They call them reveries because they're not actual memories. They're like coded fake memories that get accessed to, entice certain actions. Like we see the prostitute, quick side note, okay? This is not going to be like Westeros Wheneverly, where we have one expert in the room and one drunk idiot. We're just going to have 2 drunk idiots this time.
I'm into that, man. I am into that.
So I'm cool with it. But there's going to be a lot of, we forget her names and stuff. But we'll learn them by the end of the second watch through.
Narrator voice. They never learn the names.
They never learn the names.
So
Tim and Johnny went and grabbed tequilas, and they thought it was going to be a great idea. It was not. Anyway, sorry, that was my narrator voice going on. Anyway, so they're analyzing the young prostitute girl, and she's rubbing her finger along her lip, and they're like, "Wow, that's new. That's the reveries. That's where we learn about it." And so Ford sneaks this code into the surrogate, the hosts, and that's what this episode's about. Really. They try to make that the overall theme.
Right in the middle of it is when we get that talk on the balcony between the COO lady, the general manager lady, and the writer. And the writer says, this annoying British dude says, do we really want them to seem more human? Do you think that, rich husband wants to, or rich wife wants to see her husband
that girl?
Yeah, fucking a real person or murdering a real human? No, we don't want them. You want that division between what is real and what isn't. Do we really need them to get more human is the big question in the middle of it. And I thought, man, this is it. They drop you right in at the right moment. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, they do a great job. And so Hector's robbing the bank. He comes out. He goes to give his speech.
Oh my god!
They use this blood. They use this bloodbath to try to cover up or make an excuse for why so many hosts come out of the narrative.
Because the update has just happened, so we have to pull some of the very important storyline members out to check them to see what's glitching.
So the storylines are fluid, and they make this comment. The writer guide makes this comment. You pull one character out of the story, it doesn't matter. The rest of the story kind of fills in the pieces. But you take 200 hosts out at once, everything falls to shit.
Yep.
And so they kind of quickly rewrite this narrative so that a whole bunch of hosts can be taken out at once, aka killed, based on this bank robbery when Hector comes to town. So Hector comes to town, he robs the bank. There's a great interaction between him and Maeve.
Yes.
I got her name right.
Maeve I love so much. I think, spoiler, she's probably my favorite character in the entire thing.
She's actually,
so good.
She's definitely one to watch because she develops so dramatically and so interestingly, like separate from the rest of the main characters, that it's kind of in 2 stories almost. Like you get the Dolores aspect, you get the Man in Black, and then you get Maeve,
and you get this sort of
and all while that's going on, you have Ford in the background. And everyone's wondering, is Ford management? What is he doing? Because there's a lot of times when Ford battles the corporation. So I think the divisions really are the corporation.
It occurs to me,
the rich people, and then Ford.
That one of the things that we might have to unpack is divinity. Ford represents the God figure here.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The creator and the created, and then maybe the management or humanity is what? The
government
sect of angels?
Oh, okay.
So if we're going to keep this in sort of religious terms, you have a God that's half of good and evil. It's the devil. But like in the God position.
Right.
And he has created this thing. And then there's all these angels in between as the untouchable intermediaries. And then you have humanity, which is the robots struggling for consciousness. There are a lot of ways philosophically and empirically that we can come at this. And I think it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful show. I
really like that approach that you just brought into my mind.
It just occurred to me.
Because there's a great scene.
Yep.
I wanted to say Dorothy, but it's not Dorothy.
Dolores.
Dolores, thank you. I don't know. Dolores' dad makes a comment.
Yeah.
This is hell. The devils are here.
Yeah, there's a lot of this sort of religious imagery, right? Like now that I'm thinking about it, I think I could make a pretty strong case for this.
I think also the Man in Black makes a comment about ancient civilizations and their wisdom as well.
There's a lot,
when he's scalping the dealer, and pulling his head off.
So the overarching theme here, there were 3 questions when we open with Dolores, and so I wrote these down because I was like, I wonder if these are going to be thematically important for us. Okay. The first question was to Dolores: have you ever questioned the nature of your reality? That's the first question.
Okay.
And then I made some other notes. But a question I had about that was good and evil, good versus evil, right? When we're on the train with Teddy going into town.
Speaking of which, where the fuck did he get his horse from? He comes in on a train, and he gets off, and she's like, "Oh, you got to follow me if you can catch me." And he's like, "I got to get my horse."
This is during the first scene with the romance.
Sorry.
So the horses, and now that I'm looking for them to be machines, they look like machines. They never poop. They never they never do a sidestep. When they come into town, watch for this in the next episode. It's like she parks the horse. And it takes a couple of steps, but it goes in a vertical position and stops. And then when you're looking at the cows coming into the pasture or whatever, look for them to be mechanical. Not one cow takes a shit. Nothing is, no one's, there's no animal sex. Nothing is happening that's unscripted. They look like cows designed to run and then stop. Horses that run and then stop. And they might sidestep, but they certainly don't poop, and they go where there's some. It's like parking a car, but it's a horse. And so probably he just parked his car, which is like a horse, somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
But
fine.
Yes, he was
Fair
just
enough.
returning from town to town, and from a long time.
Right.
Dolores hasn't seen him, but he has to go get his horse.
And he has to get his horse. Okay, whatever. Some inconsistency there, but it's just some minor things.
But anyway, I am so excited to talk about good and evil and the existence of the nature of consciousness, the subconscious, how they're playing with this idea. So reveries, which are these little touches, the new update,
right,
accesses the subconscious, other things that have happened to them. And so this particular prostitute is touching her lip, and somebody else will have a little affect that they do. And it ties into the idea of a human subconscious, of
instinct, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man! And then when do we want them more believable? And you have this sort of very acidic and acerbic British writer saying, "Do we really want them more human? It'd save us a ton of money to not do these updates and to just keep them, as blood sacks that you can, blow away or fuck." Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of this, what do you think the purpose of having that family come in and the little kid talk to Dolores and kind of just say straight up, "You're one of them. You're not real," and then she's like, "I've got to go. Sun's almost down."
Yep. I think. So for me,
you think there's importance there?
I think it's I think a couple of things are happening.
Yeah.
But it seems to me the purpose of that scene is to elevate the cognitive dissonance that the audience has, right? Because we are Dolores. We are brought on with Dolores. We are following her journey. Okay. And then this kid is
definitely define Dolores as this not a human.
Yes, this innocent thing is saying to her face as she's showing them kindness and, an experience. You feed the horse the apple. You're one of them. You're not real. And does she freak out? Is she supposed to just leave if somebody says to her she's not real?
Right.
It comes from a child. Like I don't know, man.
I think something else important happens in that scene. Well, definitely, I think that's the scripted reaction, right? It doesn't look like anything to me. Mm-hmm. To her, it's filtered, right? It's like a
pre-programmed reaction.
It's a pre-programmed reaction, right? It's a truth filter or whatever. Yep. It's, she doesn't see what could affect her adversely.
But this actor is able to do it where you think that there is some reverberation in there.
Right. Which is great because we know eventually there is some.
At the end of the episode, she slaps the fly.
Exactly. The other important thing that happens in that scene, that at least I think is important, is the father of this family makes this comment like, "Oh, we shouldn't go across the river. That's too adult for him," assuming that they're talking about his son.
Yeah.
And what that to me kind of shows that there are sections of this world, right? And another guy makes a comment
she's
too.
Painting, and there's horses, and you can feed the wild horses.
Right, you can feed the wild horses. You can bring your kid. You can go to town. It's relatively benign.
Choose your own adventure.
It's a choose your own adventure, but it seems that there are mature, quote unquote, more mature storyline and sections. And the other thing that we notice about that is when those two guys come in and he recognizes Teddy, he goes, "Oh, Teddy, you're my man. You're going to guide us." And then they're like fucking in the brothel in the bathroom. And he makes the comment like, "Oh man, you think this town is crazy. Like, wait till you get outside and you go explore. It's depraved." And that's where my man Teddy comes in.
Yep. Right. And then Teddy is sitting there. The scene is these, completely, a bunch of bro dudes.
Yeah. And they're like kind of talking shit about him, right? They're kind of like
right in front of him.
They're like, "Oh man, Teddy's gonna be, he's gonna take us out there, and if we get boring, we'll just use him for target practice."
And he's sitting outside the door, sort of with this painted-on smile on his face.
I think there's a fly in that scene too.
Is there?
I think there is.
I was trying to take notes of all the flies, you guys. If you haven't seen Westworld, we haven't spoiled too much of it, I don't think. Go watch the first episode. Pay attention to where the flies come in.
Yes.
Because that is a narrative, the bug in the system, and just pay attention to it. It's so good. Let me see. I did take notes. It's the tiny things that make them seem real. Know who said that?
Bernard says that. Right?
He did, yes. It's the tiny things.
An attempt at Stump Dave?
This is Stump Dave. Oh. That's right. Who said this one? "You don't have kids at home, do you? You'd know if you did. They all rebel eventually." That's the security guard that's questioning her.
You can't get me when I just watched the episode.
All right.
Maybe next episode when we pre-watch.
How about this one? "Mistakes. You're a product of a million of them."
Ooh.
Who says that?
I think it's Ford.
Who does he say it to?
He says it to the Buffalo Bill bartender guy who's
that's a good scene. We haven't even talked about the introduction of Ford. So it's high drama. You think that the robots are about to rebel because there's been a new software update. Yep. They go into deep cold storage. Water pours in. Like visually, this is a very exciting moment.
This is a horror scene.
This is they're going in the dark, and they're like, "Bernard, you nerd." They got their
red guns, which, by the way, if you are watching this for the first time, the red paint on the gun signifies that it is a real gun. It can kill a human
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I did actually look that up the first time I watched through the episode because I'm looking at these guns and I'm like, why are these guns red? There has to be some reason. And the significance of the red gun is that it's a real gun. Right?
Part of the premise of Westworld is that the guns that they shoot can't hurt you.
Right. And in fact, you actually learn that in a later episode. Okay. You learn that about the guns, not about the red necessarily.
Yep. We'll keep an eye out for it.
But keep an eye out for information about guns.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But so we meet Ford. He's talked about ahead of time. I think the balcony chat, he's mentioned it's time for Ford to step down. We need a new person.
I think that's after we meet him for the first time.
And then because there's this big emergency.
The first time he's mentioned.
They go down into the cold storage.
Yeah, sorry. The first time he's mentioned is when Bernard is talking to his assistant girl.
Yep.
I want to say her name's Becky or Beth or something.
It seems like Becky. Becky with the good hair.
Becky
She's
with
there.
the good hair. Yeah. So he's talking to her, and he notices the reveries.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, Ford snuck in some code."
That's right. And then she kisses the prostitute.
That's right.
Human adaptation or something, like improvisation. What are you doing there?
Becky with the good hair.
God, Becky's a closet case. Anyway, so we meet Ford. We meet Anthony Hopkins. I don't know, man. She likes robots. I kissed a robot and I liked it. We meet Anthony Hopkins in cold storage at the height of this very exciting, guns drawn.
You think there's going to be
sit this one out, nerd.
Everything leads you to believe
we
that
think
there's
that
going to
the
be
robots
a fight,
are going to
it's going to be a horror show.
That's right.
And it's just Anthony Hopkins
in a room,
sitting in what looks like a morgue.
Yep, behind an army of standing still mannequins, except we know they're like decommissioned robots in the dark.
They're livestock.
Yep. And there's a light on far away, and in that room, it's Anthony Hopkins in a very fancy, not suit, because he doesn't have a suit jacket on, but his vest and his little, like,
white shirt,
he's got, like,
suspenders and whatever.
There's a chain to probably a pocket watch in the breast pocket, and he's having a conversation with the oldest robot bartender ever, who has, like, it looks like something from the Hall of Presidents at Disney or something, like just very herky-jerky.
He's very robotic in
obvious
his movements.
Fake hair, lip twitches, and
I think the actor who did that did a great
So
job.
great.
Right?
I mean, that is a wonderful introduction, and he's just enjoying his time with this bartender.
He makes some comment like Bill was always a good listener.
That's
or something
right.
like that.
And then, do you know what they say, Stump Dave?
Uh-oh.
To decommission the robots. This is the first time we are introduced to that command.
Doesn't he say, like, put yourself away, won't you? Doesn't he say that to Bill?
He does say that after, but he goes, now it is time for you to go into a deep and dreamless slumber. That's what he says to the second host. Yep.
Does Becky say that?
She says that at the end.
At the end to Dolores?
She does, yeah. Okay. Gay Becky says that to Dolores. Deep and dreamless. This will feel like nothing more than a dream in your deep and dreamless slumber. And then they all turn off. So there's like audio commands to these robots. But after he says a deep and dreamless slumber, then
oh my God.
Ford is talking to Bernard, and he says, the distance you've traveled from then to now, it's remarkable, Bernard. Because he's talking, Bernard came on 10 years ago or something, and he's like, were you ever here when Bob, the bartender, was around? And he's like, I think he was before my time. I came in and such and such and such and such. And he's like, the distance you've traveled from then to now, it's remarkable. That's what Bernard says. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I think while you were talking.
And then Anthony Hopkins says, remarkable. Yeah, that's a word for it. Oh, man, the demons. Okay, go on.
So I think while you were talking, I just picked up potentially another tagline for us. Enter a deep and drinkless slumber.
Oh, is that how we're signing off?
I think that's how we're going to have to sign this off.
A deep and drinkless slumber?
Yeah.
I like this. Let me check my notes here. I don't want to miss anything.
No. I wasn't signing us off. I was introducing our tagline because I just thought of it right now.
I am what I am because of you.
Oh.
Says her dad. This is going to be... and
that's got to be a great theme because that actually triggers a bug in his code when Ford is talking to him about that.
Yeah. So I am what I am because of you. This is one of the final lines. So the dad is freaking out. He's seen this picture. It's in the future. And he says to Dolores, I am what I am because of you. And knowing what I know about the final episode, knowing what I know about Dolores and the way things go down, is he saying it to her from the past? Is he saying... the reason we're like this is because the way I am is because of you? Or is he saying it because it's a coded father to daughter canned response?
I think it's both. I think
show.
I think this show is just that good at writing and
it's so
tapping those things together.
Give me a double meaning all day long, David.
Right?
That one stuck out for me.
Oh yeah, double meanings. Whoa, dude, double rainbow.
Did you pick up on? Did you? Don't mind me, just trying to look chivalrous.
Yeah, he says that. That's the line that he's.
I did write it down.
Says all over and over again.
Yeah. The use of can't hurt a fly. So I wondered.
Can't hurt a fly.
Yeah,
and then,
you
of course,
couldn't hurt a fly.
Kills the fly.
And I think that is so, it works on the bug level, but then they can't hurt a fly. She wouldn't hurt a fly. And at the end, she smacks the fly dead. Oh, it's so good, David. I think that's all my notes as far as like things that I picked up on while we were watching it. Look for animals seeming more animatronic.
Yes.
Because
look for poop. Tana wants everyone to look for animals
anyone out
pooping.
there sees any animal in Westworld take a poop, let me know.
Tana's all on that.
I don't know what these flies are eating, honestly.
Tana has taken on a new...
They're probably eating all the milk. Because there's so much
like
milk. An endless supply
everywhere.
Of gross milk.
Oh, the one guy is like, I found another bottle. You're going to drink this. You're going to drink this.
Being the actor, so there's one guy who's just pouring milk in the other guy's mouth for like an hour.
Guys, we're gonna have to reshoot that. That didn't come out good. Just lay on this floor.
You know that guy is never touching milk again
in
the rest of his
never.
natural life. He's like, just pour it on my cheek. Just try to make it. I have a lot of facial hair. Just aim for that. Yep. Oh man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming on this inaugural spin-off with us. I hope you guys also spun yourselves off as we did. And this is going to be a great, fun journey that we're going to now go on.
So join us. We don't know.
Through Westworld.
You can follow us on Twitter. We'll post when we're going to cast again. And on Facebook, I'm at Tana Ford.
Yep, and I'm at Worry, W4RRI. And you can find us. And you know what? Let's talk a little bit about housekeeping.
Yeah, let's do a little housekeeping.
You actually were telling me before that you got some major things coming in the pipes.
So,
I don't know what you can talk about. So I'm just going to say, Tana, tell us about what you're doing with your life right now.
Sure. I make comic books for a living.
Yeah, which is fucking awesome.
It is a cool job.
I wish I could play video games for a living.
And I just wrapped on a project for Marvel with superstar writer Nnedi Okorafor on a Black Panther book. We had done an 8-page story together, and now we're doing where we created a sort of Elseworlds Black Panther hero called Uzaru. Her real name is Ngozi, which means blessing. And she's Nigerian. She's an interim Black Panther. And I get to do a full-length issue, which we just wrapped on. It's out February 28th, called Under the Bridge. And very exciting stuff. And I have some other things that I can't really talk about yet. But comics, man, read them.
Yes, read
Love them.
See the Black Panther movies?
Oh my God, it's going to be... If you can get tickets, online. No one can get tickets.
No?
It opens this weekend, and I am not going on opening weekend because I don't like crowds, but also because I have other things planned. But I cannot wait to see it in the middle of the week when no one is in my movie theater. What about you, Dave?
You're such an old, grumpy person.
I was born an old, grumpy...
get off my lawn!
Forever. You turned down that music. What's going on with you?
Oh, man. We're starting kickball up again, which is fun. In my world of creating things, nothing. I am a complete empty slate.
You're not even doing some decoupage. No.
I'm renovating my kitchen a little bit.
This is a big deal.
This is kind of a big deal.
Are you gonna do the tiling yourself?
No. No. I am a white Jew from the suburbs. I do not. I would fuck up tile really bad. So I got a buddy who did my floors. You know, you've seen
they came out beautifully.
Floors, they came out great. So yeah, he's gonna come in and actually do some housekeeping.
Nice. Oh, look at that!
See what I did there? That's right.
Audio housekeeping.
That's right.
Literal housekeeping.
Literal housekeeping. Yeah. So new countertops, new appliances, and new backsplash in the kitchen.
Nice.
So yeah. Basically, that's my life. Is just working.
The renovation is going to take everything
over. And
then
just
be a
doing
mess.
some cool things.
You're not going to be good at living in a mess.
I am not going to be good at living in a mess. My girlfriend will hate me because I will just be like, that needs to be cleaned up. That needs to be cleaned up. Let's get... Anyway.
I have a thought to leave you on.
Please.
Okay. So...
Don't leave me.
This is Dolores's first thought in Westworld. It's why people come to Westworld. And so meditate on this until we meet again. It's a place to be free. A place of unlimited possibilities. Which is super creepy.
It is super creepy. And with that note, we will leave you all to a deep and drinkless slumber.
Yes, to a deep and drinkless slumber.
Cheers.